A single mistake, if handled with cruelty, can destroy a person's future. But that same mistake, if handled with wisdom, can become their greatest strength. Often we are quick to label someone as bad or dishonest, without ever looking at the invisible scars they carry. True leadership isn't about catching criminals or quick judgment, it's about understanding human desperation. Today's story is a blueprint for cognitive empathy, so stay and watch until the end. It's the story of a girl, a missing wallet, and a teacher who chose to look for the why instead of just the who. Years ago in a school there was a young girl named Maya who was studying there. She used to sit in the back of the class. She was thin, pale, and never brought a lunchbox. One afternoon during a break, the class president suddenly screamed, "My wallet is gone. It had all my birthday money in it." The room went cold and the students were shocked and started shouting, and one of the teacher, Mr. Julian, stepped in. He locked the door. He knew no one had left the room. The thief was sitting right there among them. In the back row, Maya felt her heart shattering. In a moment of sheer, starving desperation, she had taken it. She wasn't a thief by nature, she just hadn't eaten in 2 days and she couldn't stand to see her younger brother cry from hunger anymore. When that panic set in, she thought in her heart and said, "If I'm caught, my life is over." She felt so much shame that she began to think that leaving this world was the only way out. She was a thief now. How could she ever face anyone again? But her teacher, Mr. Julian, did something no one expected. He didn't call the police. He didn't search their bags in public. He said, "Everyone stand up. Face the wall and cover your eyes with your hands. I'm going to walk behind you. No one look. If you look, you betray our trust." Maya stood there, trembling, tears soaking her hands. She felt Mr. Julian's hand reach into her bag. She felt the wallet leave her pocket. She waited for the loud accusation. She waited for the shame. But there was only silence. But her teacher took the wallet and walked to the front and said, "You can now open your eyes," Mr. Julian said calmly. He was holding the wallet. "I found it near the back of the room. It must have fallen." He handed it back to the owner. Maya's soul felt like it had been pulled back from a cliff. She looked at Mr. Julian, but he was already writing on the chalkboard, acting as if nothing had happened. He never looked at her differently. He never told a soul, and this changed a lot in Maya's life. Mr. Julian later called the girl and asked her what really happened and asked it was her daily. "You can now open your eyes," Mr. Julian said calmly. He was holding the wallet. "I found it near the back of the room. It must have fallen." He handed it back to the owner. Maya's soul felt like it had been pulled back from a cliff. She looked at Mr. Julian, but he was already writing on the chalkboard, acting as if nothing had happened. He never looked at her differently. He never told a soul. But the lesson didn't end there. After class, Mr. Julian quietly asked Maya to stay behind. When the room was empty, he didn't scold her. He simply sat across from her and asked softly, "Maya, what is really happening? I saw the hunger in your eyes long before I found the wallet in your bag." Maya broke down, explaining the empty cupboards at home and her desperation to help her brother. Mr. Julian listened with deep compassion. He then placed a hand on her shoulder and gave her the advice that would change her life forever. He said, "Maya, a mistake born of pain is still a mistake, but silence makes it a prison. Promise me one thing. Never let your pride or your fear stop you from speaking your truth. From now on, if you are drowning, don't reach for someone else's lifebelt. Reach for a hand to pull you up. My door is always open. Open up, communicate, and ask for help. There is no shame in being human." That conversation was the turning point. Maya realized that she didn't have to be a thief or a victim. She just had to be a communicator. Under Mr. Julian's guidance, she learned that vulnerability is not weakness. It is the ultimate strength. She started opening up to her teachers, who helped her family find local resources. She became a girl who led with honesty, knowing that every problem has a solution if you have the courage to speak it. 15 years later, that better girl became a woman of immense influence. When she met Mr. Julian again at the gala, she told him, "You didn't just save me from a mistake, you taught me how to talk to the world. You taught me that when we share our burdens, they lose the power to break us. True teachers don't just erase the crime, they rebuild the person. They teach us that communication is the bridge from a dark past to a bright future. If you are struggling, don't stay silent. Reach out. There is always a hand ready to pull you up." If this story inspired you, please share it.